In this video, we're going to learn how to use Tableau to create visualizations and dashboards. Using Tableau, I'm actually going to use a little bit more complicated world data that I downloaded from the ourworldanddata.org site that I told you about. So I've opened up Tableau. If you don't see the screen, on the bottom left hand side, click Data Source, and then you should see this screen over here. On the left hand side, remember we're in Tableau right now, so you have to download and open Tableau. I'm going to connect to an Excel file, and I'm going to navigate to the one that I just downloaded, the geographic distribution, and I have this exact same file uploaded to my courses. Now, if you take a look at this file, you're going to see that it's very complicated. It has thousands of rows. It has all sorts of countries, a whole bunch of countries and territories. It has the date, that is the date rep, and they've also brought out the day, the month, and the year. They've extracted that from the date. We have the number of cases. Now it seems like the number of cases are each day, they're not cumulative, because we can see the number go up and then go down. So that's the daily cases. And we have the deaths. We have the countries and territories. We have the geographic ID. And we have the country and territory code. Now, very interesting, we can see that Tableau did not recognize the country and territory names as geographic data because we have the ABC data type, but it did recognize the country code. Notice that we have the geographic data type. So we can use the country territory code, since it's a geographic data type, we can use that to build a map, which is going to be the first thing that I'm going to do. So now at the bottom, right next to Data Source, I'm going to click Sheet 1, and I'm going to prepare what is actually going to wind up looking like a pretty awesome map. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag my country territory code. I can see that that one has the geographic type, and I'm going to drag that to drop field here. Now over on the right, you can see that there's a Show Me. I'm going to click what looks like a little bar graph next to the Show Me, and I'm going to prepare a map. Now right now, each map only is going to tell me the different countries. So all it's telling me is the country code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take cases, and I'm going to drop that over here where it says size. And now you can see here that I have the bigger dots where there are more cases and smaller dots where I have less cases. I can click the size, and I can also bring it up to the next level. Notice those two little hash marks over there. That's the lowest and the highest that Tableau recommends. So I'm just going to bring that one up a little bit. Now we can actually show two different things. So watch, when I hover over right now, it shows the territory, and it's going to show the number of cases. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take deaths, and drag that one over to the color area. Now I'm going to click where it says color, and first of all I'm going to make it a little bit more opaque, maybe like 75-ish%, something around there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Edit Colors. So on the palette, instead of automatic, I'm going to click down, and I'm going to click a red, blue, diverging. Now it's funny, when I practice that with my husband, what it happens now is more deaths equal blue. My husband said more deaths should equal red. So all I have to do is click this reversed over here, and now click OK. And now I have what is starting to look like a pretty awesome map. But believe it or not, we can make this map even more awesome. So first of all, notice when I hover, it doesn't say the country name, it says the country code. So what I'm going to do is from dimensions, I'm going to drag countries and territory, and I'm going to drag that into that tooltip area. So notice when I hover over each one of the dots right now, I not only get the code, but I also get the country name, which is a lot more helpful than the country code. And notice I'm getting both the cases and the deaths, and it's color coded for deaths, and it's size coded for cases. So right now this map is actually starting to look pretty awesome. Now another thing that we can do is we can take the date rep and we can drag that over into the filter area. So now how do you want it? We can do it by years, quarters, months. I'm just going to choose a range of dates and then click next. And notice now I have an entire range of dates. So now I can choose a week or a month, one particular day, one particular week, or the entire range. So I'm just going to click OK. And now to show the filter, what I'm going to do is in the filter area where it says date rep, I'm going to click the down arrow and I'm just going to click show filter. So when I click that little bar chart now next to show me, you can actually see the date filter and you can slide it and the map changes automatically. So you can see the cases and the deaths for just, let's say, the last week or the last few days, or the entire date period with just a slide. And now finally, let's say we want to show the population of each country. So under measures, I'm going to drag pop data 2018, that's our population data, and I'm also going to drag that over to the tooltip area. But there's a problem because it's going to sum all the dates. So where it says sum population data, I'm going to click the down arrow, and where it says measure sum, instead I'm just going to do average. So we'll just get the average population over that period of time instead of the sum. That's going to make a lot more sense. So instead of the USA having a few billion people, you can see that it shows it has 327 million, which makes a lot more sense. So in just a few minutes, we were able to create this absolutely, what I think is an absolutely awesome map. So let's move on to a couple of other visualizations. So down at the bottom, kind of where the sheet names would be in Excel, notice we have data source, and I have my sheet 1, and then I have a couple of icons. I have next to that I can add a new worksheet, which is where you create a visualization. Here's where we would add a dashboard, and here's where we would add a story, which is similar to a dashboard, but it's kind of like a PowerPoint presentation for dashboards. We're not going to go over stories today, but if you'd like to try it out, it's really not all that difficult. Now let's create a second visualization. This one I want to do as just a table. So I'm going to create a new worksheet. What I am going to do is I'm going to drag my countries and territories to the left where it says drop field here. I'm going to take the cases and drop that into the ABC area. I'm going to take the deaths as well and drop that into the ABC area. So notice I have both cases and deaths. Now what I'm going to do is from the dimensions, I'm going to drag countries and territories into the filter area. And when it asks over here what I want to filter by, notice I have several tabs: General, Wildcard, Condition, or Top. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click Top, and notice right now the radio button for None is clicked. I'm going to click the radio button by field. I'm going to choose the top 10, and I'm going to choose the top 10 by cases, and notice it changes from count to sum. So I'm going to show only those countries that have the top 10 cases, and I'm going to click OK, and I will name sheet 1 my map chart, and notice how it was automatically named map chart. I'm actually going to double click there, and I'm going to change it. Instead of the sheet name, I will call it cases and deaths by country, and click OK. Now, naming the sheets is important because later when we do the visualizations, we really need to know what is on each sheet. Now I'm going to click sheet 2, and I'm going to name it Top 10 Table, and I will change this name up here to Top 10 Countries by cases, and click OK. Now let's just create a couple of other visualizations. So to create more visualizations, I need more sheets. I can't do multiple visualizations on the same sheet. So next to where it says Top 10 Table, I'm going to click the new worksheet icon, and I'm going to have sheet 3. Now I'm basically going to do a very similar thing, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bar graph. So I'm going to drag my countries and territories to the left side where it says drop field here. This time I'm going to take the cases, drop it into the ABC field, and over on the right hand side where it says show me, I'm going to click the thing that looks like a bar graph. I can do all these different types of visualizations. I'm just going to click the bar graph, and just like I did before, I'm going to drag countries and territories into the filter area. For the tabs at the top, I'm going to click Top, and this time by field, Top 10 by the sum of cases, and click OK. So for my sheet 3, Top 10 bar graph, and just one more visualization. So let's call this Top 10 Countries by Cases, and OK, and just one more. So one final new worksheet, pretty much where new worksheet in Excel would be. I'm going to click that one, and I'm going to drag once again countries and territories into the drop field here, cases into the ABC area. On the right hand side, making sure that little bar graph next to show me is clicked. I'm going to click the one that looks like a bar graph, drag countries and territories into the filter area, top, click the by field, and this time I will choose bottom 10 by the sum of cases, and click OK. Now, if you'd like to sort these, so let's say we want to sort them for the top 10 countries from highest to lowest. I'm going to go back to my top 10 bar graph. Up here, right over where it says columns, there are two icons, sort ascending and sort descending. So I'll just click the icon to sort descending and then go back to sheet 4. I will change the name of this one to bottom 10 bar graph. Change the name, bottom 10 countries by cases, and click OK. And this one it might be nice to sort to, but this one it might be nice to sort from lowest to highest. So we can see here it looks like Yemen has the smallest number of cases. Now let's work on our visualizations. So to do a visualization, instead of adding a new worksheet, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new dashboard. So I'm going to click for New Dashboard, and now you can see all of the sheets on the left hand side, which again is why I wanted to make sure to label them, otherwise we would have just seen sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, and sheet 4. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to drag my map chart over to the dashboard, and it comes up, and when I click the Show Me, notice that even on the dashboard I still have that filter. So even on the dashboard, unlike Excel with the camera where the filter does not carry through, the filter actually goes to the dashboard. So let's say I want to show my top 10 table right next to my map chart. So now I'm going to drag top 10 table to the right hand side. I'm going to kind of make that smaller. Now I'd like to have it down a little bit. So notice on the bottom left hand side I have objects, and I can take blank and I can drag it over where it says top 10 countries by cases, and then kind of drag that one up a little bit. That one looks a little better. My laptop kind of has a small monitor. If I was on my desktop, this would look a lot better. But notice I still have all the features. I have the colors that you can see, and I can still hover over everything. And as I had told you in the instructions, I'd like a little explanation. So notice you can also put a text box, so I can drag text over to that, put it down at the bottom, and this is my explanation of this visualization. I'm not feeling very creative tonight, and I'm going to click OK, and once again I can make that one smaller as well, so we can see a lot of the map chart, and there's my text box. Now let's create a second dashboard. So I can rename my dashboard as map dashboard. And finally, for my second dashboard, I'm going to click the icon for New Dashboard. And for this one, I'm going to drag my top 10 bar graph in, and then my bottom 10 bar graph to the right hand side. So you can take a look at the top 10 cases and the bottom 10 cases. We may in fact want to add data labels to this to be able to see it. And then I can add my text box to the bottom and talk about these graphs. And once again, that can be sized to make sure that the two graphs are about the same size, and there is my little text down there. So I hope you enjoyed my presentation on Tableau, and I hope you enjoyed the map chart. I actually very much enjoyed creating the map chart.